Well, no wonder Governor Jerry Brown welcomed Mexico's president with open arms. 1 in 10 California workers are openly illegal. They shouldn't even be here. To former immigration special agent Michael Cutler on how our open border is actually making things worse. And for Californians, their unemployment rate unnaturally high. It's close to 8%. Maybe that's the reason why.
Maybe, and you know, that's without considering the 100 million Americans who have supposedly given up looking for work.
Well, what's going on there? And how do they even come up with the 1 in 10 figure that are illegal? The bottom line, hard to quantify, but it's a lot of illegals.
It's a lot of illegals. You know, I write for a group, Californians for Population Stabilization, and they've been hammering away that 98% of their population growth is due to immigration. And if we keep on adding more...
Immigration or illegal immigration?
Well, I guess it's both, but primarily illegal, because we're admitting about 1 million lawful immigrants per year to the whole country. In fact, we're bringing in more foreign workers each and every year than the number of new jobs that are created.
Between those the process legally recognizes and honors and those who do runaround.
I absolutely agree.
And California is like the runaround capital.
Well, they have two things going. You have Jerry Brown, and they got that connection to the Mexican border. So it's one of the easiest states for the illegals to come to from Latin America. You know,
what do you make of the argument, then, that these folks are taking the jobs that Americans don't want?
Americans would desperately take those jobs. What I saw as an agent, when we would raid factories, immediately, when we got the illegals out of the factories, the lines of people waiting to get those jobs were American. The thing about American workers, they are the most productive.
Then why don't we crack down on the American companies that are allowing this to happen?
I agree with you, but tell that to Mr. Obama, who doesn't want to make any distinction between legal and illegal, as we just started to do here. Look at the politicians from both parties, though, who tell you, well, there's too many illegals here. We can't possibly get rid of them all. So we're either going to give them citizenship, lawful status. Don't you think that encourages more aspiring illegal aliens around the world? You know, when I testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee last year, I said that those statements constitute the firing of a starter's pistol for aspiring illegal aliens from around the world. We have a legal system. Why in the world should anybody want to come here legally if you can come here illegally with no effort?
Well, you're more concerned about the types of illegals we're getting, the dangerous types.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, sure. First of all, let's remember that the reason we have an inspections program, and I was an inspector for the first 4 years of my 30-year career with the INS.
Is that right? 30 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Similar to what the TSA folks do. If you look at the law, it's about keeping out aliens with dangerous communicable diseases, aliens who are severely mentally ill and violent, sex offenders, convicted felons, human rights violators, war criminals, spies, and terrorists. So if someone's sneaking in, presumably they belong to one or more categories of aliens to be excluded. Would you get on an airplane if you saw people sneaking past TSA? Of course not. Why are we being forced to live with millions of foreign nationals who evaded a very similar inspections process that are actually our first and last line of defense?
Covering this California 1 in 10 story, though. I mean, it was reported, but others ignore and say, yeah, it's no big deal. That alone, I think, says a lot.
But you also cover a lot of these stories that nobody else, or to be honest, no other network covers. That's why I love coming on your show, Neil. You do a great job.
Well, same here, Michael. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for covering the story.
All right, we're going to be on it. He was on this stuff and the dangers here. And by the way, you're worried about 9/11, the anniversary, aren't you?
Very much so. You know, I testified 4.5 years before 9/11 about the dangers with visa fraud and immigration benefit fraud because of the '93 attacks. I had an argument with the counsel at the Immigration Subcommittee the Friday before 9/11.
Is that right?
I was so frustrated, I ended my conversation asking him, believe it or not, what will it take, another attack at the Trade Center? That was the Friday before 9/11.
Holy cow.
We've got to wake up. You know, this is an existential threat to America and Americans.
Michael Cutler.
Thank you.
Always good seeing you. Always profound. All right, okay, sure, you're paying through the nose for health care. But look at the bright side. Because thanks to the health care law, at least a lot more folks are covered, right? Wrong-o. After this,